All right, what's up, THP? wJDax is back, illiterate, and we're going to talk just a little bit about his Grandaddy experience, and he's got some tips he wants to share. I've got some questions, and we're also going to talk just a little bit about the events that are coming out this next year. So first, we got coming back, going down the list that JB gave us on the site. Cleveland Strixon event.
Yes, yeah.
I got to do the Cleveland short game shootout a couple years ago. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we signed up for this year's Cleveland event, didn't get in.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, we did not.
That's okay though.
That's okay.
And we got the Morgan Cup coming back.
Yeah, that looks great. That looks phenomenal. I think Cobra's a sponsor for that, and I can't wait to hear more about what the format is for that.
And I'm actually that one's really high on my list. I'm excited about that.
Really?
I'm hoping that. I'm hoping with this new job, it doesn't fall into this blackout vacation thing. So I've got 3 months of the year I can't take vacation. So then we got the Odyssey event.
Luke, man.
I mean, Luke is a legend at the Nest. I mean, so
dude, he's a Hall of Fame tag Nest person, recipient. I think. Yeah, Luke and Sean Toulon are on that event. That's gonna be. It's going to be a large time.
Do you think that this event could take place at the Nest?
God. I don't ever want to go back in that place. But no. If you haven't had a chance to meet Luke or Sean, that's one that should be really high on your radar.
Yeah. Another one, the Handcrafted Experience.
Always gets good reviews. It always gets good reviews.
It does. And some of those shafts that have come out of there are incredible.
Yeah. No doubt. I've seen some of that.
Man, the ones from this year are pimp. Ultimate Weekend of Golf is back. It's coming back. I know it was a really big one that people enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to learn a little bit more about that and how it works.
Me too. I can't wait to hear a lot more about that one. Although, I would put that probably under the Odyssey event just because of the Luke factor.
Definitely. That one definitely goes up a few notches.
Because he's ultimate. That's the ultimate weekend of golf, and then he's the ultimate guy in golf, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then this one I know you're excited about, and so am I. Is the THP Championship with Budget Golf?
Yes. I thoroughly enjoyed following that one last year. I can't wait to sign up and try to get in that one.
And then we got the sweep. Coming back this year. With a coach.
OITW going to return to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
Like Buckner walking back into Shea and try to make sure they don't walk out with ladies clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good.
Yeah, we don't want lefty stuff if you're right-handed.
Lefty 6 hybrids for the girls on the Korean LPGA tour.
And then we got, one of my favorites, dear to my heart, the Shaft Up.
Man,
it's coming back.
Yeah, that's actually probably
going on the road.
One. Yeah, it's on the road. I don't know what that really means, but you said so much of great things about the Shaft Up event. I think that's number 1 on my list.
Yeah, that one is definitely. If you get a chance to meet Danny Lee, you got to go meet Danny Lee. He's just a fantastic dude.
He sounds like an awesome guy.
Yeah,
there with Luke.
Last but not least, the Grandaddy.
Yes, yes, the Grandaddy.
So
yeah.
What are your thoughts about the Grandaddy coming back? You excited?
I'm super excited. I can't wait to see who the captain is. I can't wait to see who the vice captain is.
We're going to talk about that a little bit.
I can't wait to see how do they make this event that doesn't suck to begin with even better, right? So I can't say enough great things about the Grandaddy. That's sort of like the Super Bowl of all the events, but this is a loaded card.
Yeah, it's a loaded card, and then there's more events that we don't even know about yet.
Reminds me of 83 Starcade.
Yeah.
Loaded card.
83 Starcade.
Watch it on the network.
On the network, WWE Network, for $9.99.
$9.99 a month, 83 Starcade.
And so, how do these people get into these events? What is their ticket to that?
Well, all you have to do is be an Albatross Club member.
That's right. For what, $34, $35?
I think it's $34.99. That's it. All you gotta do is be a member.
Yeah, you be a member.
You can get
it. All the proceeds go to St. Jude's.
Right, and that's an awesome cause, an awesome cause, and you have a chance to potentially meet Luke, do the Grandaddy, Shaft Up with Danny Lee.
Yeah.
Maybe run through a warehouse with OITW at the sweep. All of those things you could be in.
Yep.
Albatross Club membership. Click the top of the form, says Albatross Club, PayPal. Send it in, and you'll get a little tag next to your name on the form, and you can get.
And you get a ball marker too.
And a ball marker, that we still use. That I still use.
Yep. Yeah. And so let's just jump right into this thing. So, we've got a group me with the Shaft Up Finale guys and Danny.
Yeah.
And so I sent them a message about a couple weeks ago, like, hey, Dax and I are going to cut this video. Do you have any questions you want me to ask Dax? So I'm going to just ask these. You may have already answered some of this, but I'm going to ask because they wanted me to ask.
I did do an hour-long podcast with Hudson, at Huddy J, about some of this, but,
The little guy.
The little guy.
So my good friend, Ohio Golfer, he wanted to know, like, what is the one thing that surprised you the most about the Grandaddy experience?
How quick it goes.
How quick?
How quick. How it's there's a whole lot of things. It's a very surreal experience, no doubt. But it goes so fast. So that's the one thing that surprised me the most. And I'm not gonna lie, how awesome Jason Finley was surprising also.
Yeah. It's like, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yes, absolutely. And
let's see. Southern Illinois Hacker, he wanted to know the one thing that you regret the most or would do differently.
That's a good question. I think it would be easy to say I wouldn't have called out Finley, but I think I still would have done that though. Like, I totally blame you for that, by the way. No. Guy shot a 93 at the hype. Let's call out Jason Finley, you said. What's the worst thing that could happen, you said?
Well, the worst thing...
I'm still spitting up blood. I've got a 30-day chip that I'm going to meetings for this.
Going to meetings. Well,
yeah.
I didn't
seriously.
I didn't go and hit the ball. Okay. I didn't make you call him out.
I didn't hit it that well, and you didn't make me meet a clown.
But you were also hungover.
Yeah, but that wasn't the reason. I would have needed to shoot somewhere probably like an 80 or 79 to have a chance. That's how well he played. That's not. I don't regret that. I think that if the one thing that I would do differently is that I probably in the lead up. I probably would have spent more time actually playing than trying to dig it out of the dirt at the range, if that makes any sense. And you spent a lot of range time with me, a lot of time in the short game bunker area, which was beneficial. But I probably would have spent more time actually on the course and playing holes.
Okay. And for the record, I will state that Ohio Golfer did mention that when Jeremy asked this, he said that you probably regretted trash talking as much. So I
don't even regret that. I don't regret. I am who I am. And sometimes you're the hammer, and sometimes you're the nail. And in this particular case, I was the nail. But I'm still. In fact, I woke up the next day wanting a rematch. Like that's how I feel about it. And part of me hopes Hudson gets in just so he gets beat by him, so I don't have to hear it. I cannot believe that they gave you $3,000 in clubs, probably more than that, and you shot a 96. I can't. I hear that every day from him. So I kind of hope he gets in just so he can get embarrassed. But
get embarrassed.
What was the other question?
So Jeremy had another question. Southern Illinois Hacker. He said, "What part of the fitting would you spend some more time on?"
I think that I probably. I think that you have to remember you only have a certain amount of time in a certain amount of places of the fitting, right? So the most you're going to get with the actual fitter themselves is about an hour, maybe even less, okay? So like I discussed on the podcast, I went to the putter section first because that's what Shred told me to do, which I end up walking out with a one-in-a-kind, custom Columbus that I'm actually making putts with. Home, not there, but here. So I wouldn't have changed that. I think that I would have spent more time in the wedge area.
Okay.
Or even in the practice bunker. There, the redacted wedges that I have are awesome wedges, but they react a little bit different than what I was playing.
Yeah.
And especially in the sand, so I probably would have spent a little bit more time.
Yeah. You gotta get a feel for the new stuff. That makes sense.
So that's what I would have done a little bit differently.
And last but not least, but Jordan wanted to know how your butt feels.
Okay, Jordan, listen.
And for the record, Danny said that's a legit question.
Danny
Lee said that's a legit question.
So I'm gonna give a legit answer. I think that there's a quote from a Spanish bullfighter that comes to mind, and it goes, The bullfight critics ranked in rows and filled the enormous plaza full, but only one is there who really knows, and he's the one who fought the bull. So, no, my butt doesn't hurt. I tell you what, why don't you play? He beats everybody that he plays. I went back. I'm not the only person that's ever been boat raced by this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
The 93 that he shot at a hype, that's an aberration. That's like a statistical anomaly that doesn't happen.
Right.
Like last year against the 72 Dolphins, he won 6-4. Year before that, he killed somebody. Year before that, he killed somebody. He is very good. So no, my butt doesn't hurt. Sometimes you get these. Sometimes when you want to fight the bull and you want to fight the best, you get the horns. And that day I got the horns. So that's my.
But you had fun doing it, right?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have traded it for the world.
Great. Well, that was all the questions from those guys.
Okay, good.
So
good, Jordan.
So you didn't talk a lot about the R&D tour on the podcast. So talk to me a little bit about that, because I want to know a little bit more about how that tour went. What were some takeaways?
Well, the reason I didn't talk a lot about the R&D tour because I didn't know what we could talk about. Does that make sense? But yeah, I'll try to keep it like, it's just when you take that R&D tour, the people that work at Callaway have a passion to make the best product they possibly can for us. They have a commitment to the golfer, right? Yeah. And so they're always trying to find ways to improve their offering to help us, the regular golfer. And we saw the ways they do that. And I don't know what's proprietary and what's not as far as how they go about doing those things. So I'm not going to talk so much about that. I will say there's some really cool things that are coming down the pike, especially related to the ball. Which we're just calling in our group meeting, we just call it the ball. The ball. You have some, that you're going to put in play when temperature rises here. But I think that they're not. The key takeaway here is that we were able to see some things that that they came up with that failed. Okay. So not all of these things that you see are instant home runs. They're willing to push the envelope when they're developing, whether or not it's drivers or irons or balls or whatever, and they're willing to fail to see if an idea works. And that's the key takeaway that I took from the R&D tour. Yeah,
and I think you were telling me too when you did the presentation, you asked about the apexes.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, when are we going to see this? And I mean, their response was like, hey, we're not going to put something out unless it's, better than what we've got.
Jason Finley told me, have an open mind. That was the first thing he told me, because this was the day before we actually got into the redacted stuff. And B, that they would not put out an update to something that they had on the market unless they were absolutely sure that it was better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that says a lot.
I mean, that's all you can ask. I mean, I'm not mentioning anybody else TaylorMade, but that is a great way to know that, hey, when they come out with a new product, this is better.
They believe it's better than its predecessor.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's great to know as a consumer that's spending money. You got to feel good about that. Right. So I know you covered a little bit about the fitting, but on the podcast, but.
Yes.
I want to hear a little bit more about that. Like, talk to me about, what was it like getting fitted for a putter by Sean Toulon?
That was the best. I think that's the best of the fitting stories because, I only tried 3 putters.
What, can you tell us?
Yeah, I tried a 2W, an O-Works 2, 2W, which is sort of... Luke would call it a gateway drug. It looks like a blade, but it plays more like a mallet probably.
Okay.
If you're familiar with like a blade square back look, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
We putted some. Insert was a little soft. He asked me a lot of questions about what I like to putt with, what I currently putt with. Of course, I'm only down to 2. I went down to 2 other putters before I showed up there. At one point, I had 7. That's why it's kind of a joke.
Yeah, so for the record, seven different rounds or 7 consecutive rounds with 7 different putters.
That is true. That is true. Before we thinned it out, so I talked to him about what I liked and I didn't like about the current putters, and that's when we went to the San Diego, and then we went to a regular Columbus, and that's when we were talking about the actual putter stroke itself, where I'm kind of close to the ball, and the forward. I like a lot of forward press. So he sort of gave me a putter that provided an optical illusion that it was pressed already.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like egregious on the forward press. And then I made about 4 of them in a row. And he was like, that's it. That's your putter.
And that was one that they just like pulled. Like
They just so happened to have this putter.
Like a tour player had it and maybe didn't like it. And
right.
Like,
I should have grabbed it so I could show everyone that.
Well,
I mean,
here.
Go grab it. Grab it for me.
And for the record, Finley, this isn't a basement, okay?
It's
this
a
is
bonus
a bonus room, like a man cave.
Right, man cave bonus room.
So
Yeah,
this
this putter right here, this 2-on Columbus. As you can see, it doesn't have the regular Columbus neck to it. It's got a slant neck.
Yeah. And so it gives him a little bit of that optical illusion that the putter's already, pressed forward a little bit. And,
That was the coolest thing about the putter. Then I went to wedges.
Went over to the wedges. Redacted wedges.
The redacted wedges. I'd already said that I wish that that I probably would have spent a little bit more time there. Roger Cleveland was there. He was giving Pringles a short game lesson at the time.
Yeah.
We had talked a little bit during dinner the night before about grinds.
Yeah.
He watched me hit a couple, and he just sort of ruled out a couple of the grinds. One of them, I don't know if I can mention. I mean, I think I even mentioned on the podcast. There is a grind that's new this year.
Yeah.
That definitely wasn't for me, so we ruled that one out. We ruled.
You said Pringles got 2 of those, right? With that special grind?
Yeah.
New grind?
He's got the new grind. I didn't get any. So he on the 54. He said I could have gone with the W, but he recommended a standard grind there, and then on the 58, he recommended the C grind, and we went with it. But I wish I would have spent more time after selecting those, hitting more shots.
Sure,
probably. And then after that, I went to Garrett, which was He also fit Cobra. I think that he fits Phil. Actually, is what Cobra told me.
That had to be like you must have loved that if he fits Phil, because that's your guy.
But I didn't even know that at the time. But he was awesome. I think that if you're one of my advice to you is to have a free flowing conversation with the fitter.
Yeah.
Ask them, because Garrett was really good, because I asked a lot of sort of geeky type questions. What are you looking for on the TrackMan? What are we trying to accomplish here?
Yeah.
And he answered, and I go into way more detail on the podcast. So if you want to listen to that, listen to it. But yeah, that's how the fitting went, and then we just sort of we figured out what iron it was going to be. Then we picked a shaft. Then we went to the top of the bag, and the only time that we sort of disagreed was that he wanted a utility iron in the bag, and I wanted a 4 hybrid, and I went with it because I trusted his opinion. But I was a total Ranger Rick with that club. Finley sent me a 4 hybrid.
So talk to us about this utility iron real quick. Like what happened? Like is D-Nebs is still alive, right?
Yeah, I almost killed D-Nebs with it. Yeah, I never hit that club after I left the Performance Center. That was the weirdest.
This total stripe show.
Oh my God, yeah. That's why Garrett, who does this job for a living, thought that it should go into the bag, right? I don't know. You play with driving iron and utility iron in your bag right now. I never did.
Actually, I did replace it. I did put a hybrid.
You did put an epic hybrid in there, yeah. But for the most part, you've had that experience. Yeah. I didn't. It's a little bit different playing that type of iron, and I haven't really got it sort of down yet. Still, almost killed D-Nebs with a shank with it off of a tree. It was a long story. I'm glad that
you went and played like last week or something during the week when it got up to about 60, and he texted me talking about how he dug a grave, like a squirrel grave.
I totally rolled the sod over this thing. It was pretty bad. Still haven't yet to hit it like I hit it that day in front of Garrett. So yeah, I mean, I think they're sending me a 4 hybrid because I offered to send.
Like that was when you were texting me kind of about your bag, like set up, like how you went. Mm-hmm. When you told me you had a utility iron, I was like,
oh dear God,
that's exactly what I thought because I know how much you love hitting the hybrids. So right.
I would have totally walked out of there with 5 of them if that was what the fitter said, like, and not even a question it. Like one of those girls on the LPGA tour with a 6 hybrid. If they would have given me down to a 6 hybrid, I would have totally went with it, but they didn't.
So one other question I had for you. So were there any sure outs given?
No. In fact, I didn't even see a sure. I didn't even see a sure out. I'm trying to think.
Because I know we gave a few people a hard time about the
I know. And let me tell you something. Everyone that we gave a hard time about their bunker play got out of the bunker. So, I mean, that tough love did work.
J-Lou, Cobra, good job.
Yeah, Cobra, J-Lou. J-Lou came to play in the bunker, man. I think he wanted to specifically make me tell you that he was 5 of 6 out of the sand.
Attaboy. I'm proud of you. So, let's talk. Good rundown of the fitting stuff real quick. Yeah. And like I say, if you want to get into a little bit more detail, check out the podcast he cut on. He does get into a little bit more detail there. But I know a lot of you guys love talking about the gear and the fitting stuff, so we were going to cover it here a little bit. But talk to me about the team formats. Anything, like what was the most difficult to do? Like, because the first 18 you were paired up with Cobra.
I was paired up with Cobra.
The 9 you were with the captain, and then, singles is singles. But like of those 3 formats, what was the most difficult to really play and kind of get comfortable?
Pinehurst was probably the format's great, by the way. I probably wouldn't change anything having to do with the formats. I mean, the 27 holes that first day out of the gate, I wrote this on my list to tell the next captain. I have like 20 things on this entire legal pad.
So you wrote a book.
I wrote a book to tell the next captain or vice captain or whoever. Pinehurst was the most difficult simply because my partner's driver went a little haywire during Pinehurst. And so your drive in this particular case is in the fairway, and then it's a little more difficult when you're like, okay, where do you think it cleared the hazard, and you're dropping. Yeah, and you're like, okay, this is where we got to go. So that's the most difficult to adjust to, because after you hit up, it's alternate shot. So not a lot of people play that type of format because they're going to play straight up alternate shot. It's usually straight up alternate shot. Mm-hmm. But the ball swap off the tee, some of the gamesmanship that could go into that, deciding which second shot to play and who's going to have to play it, is definitely the most interesting of the formats, I think.
So what do you feel like was like your best shot of the did you walk any putts in and give a
there was
bump?
one. I mean, I had one moment, contrary to what Hudson said in the thing, where I didn't have a moment. I had a moment. I cut Finley's lead to 6 on 9. There was a 30-foot. What? To stop laughing.
You said I cut it to 6.
I cut it to 6. There was a 30-foot putt on 9 for birdie, and even J-Lee said it was probably one of the best putts he saw me hit the whole time. I mean, if it wouldn't have gone in, it was probably going to roll off the green, or maybe probably 10 to 20 feet past the hole, but it never left. I mean, it just started taking the break, and then boom, at bottom. I even walked that one in. I gave a fist pump and a yes, sir.
And who else was playing with Finley?
AJ was willing me back in the mountains because AJ started screaming, "Let's go!" And so, and then right after this miraculous putt, here comes Finley with like a shot of Patron about this much, where we and J-Lou shot it. All 4 of us did.
And Al's bringing you cigars and drinks.
Dude, that's the other reason I would go back. I mean, I would go back
not only hang with Al?
Right. Absolutely. Where's the vice captain? He's with Al. Smoking cigars.
You're not going to be like Tiger and have like the earpiece in.
Oh, I would totally have earpiece. We'd have walkie-talkies. We would have total earpieces. That I would bring all the paraphernalia that you would expect out of a vice captain.
Oh Lord! All right. So, talk to me about like the. Would you change anything about like the team selection process? Like we've got all these contests.
I kind of would. I mean, I think that since the golden ticket winner was excluded from the Grandaddy this year, I don't know how the captain's going to be selected. But after the captain's selected, I think that you should have, maybe like 10 contests and then have a captain's pick.
Kind of like they do in the Ryder Cup.
Right. So you continue on the Ryder Cup type situation with the captain's pick, because I think that it would bring the community sort of, everyone would be involved. I mean, I could see a thread where you would have people posting their progress or what their current swing looks like and making their own case on why the captain should pick them. During the course of the year, could you just imagine sort of the excitement that would go into all these people on the forum in this great community working hard to make their case to be the captain's pick?
Yeah.
which is better than maybe winning a crapshoot. So I don't know. Think about it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I like it. So what do you think? I mean, like, is there any specific reason, like, the captain's pick, just like maybe to help drive up stuff in the forum?
Well, I mean, I think that I think that you would see a lot more. Maybe forum participation is not the right word. I mean, a lot of people participate a lot, but maybe it'd be very focused, Grandaddy related, game improvement related. Everyone probably, sort of feels like you still have a chance. I mean, some of the contests are a crapshoot, but some of them require, creativity and innovation to try to win. Some people aren't great at rapping skills. Some people, maybe they can't design a true viz situation like Adam did in one, which was awesome. But during the course of the year, it would give everyone sort of a shot. Yeah. Or feel like they had a shot, and
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Yeah, man. Okay.
I think it'd be cool.
I think it's a good idea.
I mean, just an idea, JB.
Right.
So talk to me about the nest.
That is in some of my tips. The first thing I would say is if you get into the Grandaddy, go. I mean, because I think that now it's become part of the lore. But also pull the slip.
So talk to me about the slip. Wait, what's the slip?
Well, I mean, you just hit the highlights, man. See the clown, take a picture with the clown. Don't even get near Luke, or you may get involved in it, and the peer pressure may cause you to stay. Make sure that you're seen, that you take in enough of it, but be quick to enter on the Uber app, and don't tell anybody you're leaving. Just slip out the door. Just pull the ghost. Just total ghost.
So what did you think? What did you think about the clown?
It was weird, man. It was totally weird. But you know what? In that frame of mind, the more you drank, the more it became, hey, it's cool, we have a clown. And then before you know it, you're taking a picture with him out front. Like
so
I posted.
Did the clown talk? I mean,
no, the clown did not speak a word to me. It was the weirdest sort of. So
I mean, what is this? You just walk up like, hey, can I get a picture? And he just looks at you like.
He just nodded. He smiled and nodded like, yeah, we can do that. And then I'm like, hurry up, Cobra, take a picture.
Oh God! So talk to me about Cobra. So like, what happened to Cobra? Like, was like there a search party for Cobra that night? I mean, what happened? Did he leave with some grandma?
No. But I mean, let me tell you something. Cobra did not say, look, there's a lot. The demographic is not. I talked about this extensively on the podcast, but it's not his normal demographic. I'm pretty sure. But
60-year-old women.
Yeah, I mean with artificial hips and stuff.
I mean, so talk to me like these women that are there. Like, what is the demographic?
It's silver foxes, bro. It's like. I mean, probably.
So this isn't decades, like when
no. It's not that. It's more of a divorcees, probably.
Rode hard, hung up wet.
I mean, some of that's in there.
It's not ideal.
It's not a target-rich environment by any stretch of the imagination, unless you're in the situation where you're just willing to take something down. I mean, it would be a great slump buster. But no, Cobra brought his A game. He never said no to anyone that asked him to dance. And look, these women get a little handsy.
I mean, I saw there's like a picture with one lady, their hands up his shirt or something, right?
Yeah, they were just. Yeah, and
he looked like he was having the time of his life.
Dude, he does. And you know what? For some people, this was like a weird experience. And, Cobra said, this is just a Thursday for me.
This is just a Thursday?
Right. And he went with it. So, I mean, I think that, what I want to know before I decide what events I'm going to try to sign up for, I want to know what ones the Cobra's going to.
I want to go to that.
Right. So, Cobra, send me a text. We talk all the time anyway. Send me a text. Let me know what you're signing up for so I can make sure that
Give him my number so he can text me to let me know what he signed up for so I can sign up to.
I totally will on that. But Cobra was great, man.
All right. So last topic. There's this vice captaincy that's up for grabs. I know that's something you're eligible for.
I am eligible.
Being a previous participant.
Yeah.
So if you were chosen as vice captain,
if I was chosen,
talk to me about what would you do? Like how do you feel like your role and what sort of impact did you have?
I think the first thing that you have to remember that the captain is going through. I said this earlier, but it bears repeating. It's a surreal experience, right? Mm-hmm. And you're trying to soak it up all as much as you can. But the captain is also not only is he sort of trying to figure out how he's going to do the pairings by watching maybe people be fitted, but he's also being fitted himself.
Yeah.
And he's trying to soak it all in himself.
It's a lot to take
in. There's a whole lot going on if you're the captain, right? And I think that Captain Dean did a great job with the hand that he was dealt, but I think that he would have taken a vice captain in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have a vice captain, this is not their first rodeo. They've seen this before. And they're not getting fitted. They're not playing.
Right.
They don't have to worry about it. So guess what? They're maneuvering people. They're making sure that you're answering questions. I think that, you know, some of the things that I would do is, and I've got a whole list of stuff here, and I'm going to give it to whoever, but I've already talked about the first Uber out of the nest. That's number 6 on the list.
Yeah. That might be number 1 for most people.
Right, most people, yeah. You know, I think that, you know, the fitting is not the time to get sort of exotic with your grips. Okay, so
yeah, you talked to me about this a lot.
Yeah, and I think that putter grips, regular grips, or whatever, I think that you need to have in mind what type of grip you're going to go with. I mean, think about it. You're breaking in a new putter. You're breaking in new clubs. You're about to embark on a situation that is totally different than anything that you've ever done. It's not the time to get fancy or get cute with grip or grip selection. I would figure out what I liked before I got there and make sure that's what I got. So, and try to keep as much normalcy as you possibly can to such a surreal experience.
Right.
That would be the word. You know, make sure you bring your laser so you know your yardage. Don't leave the performance center not knowing what your gaps are.
Yeah.
And I saw, you know, people
so that's for
do
the
that.
that's for the fitting part.
Yeah, for the fitting part. Look, the Grandaddy nerves are real. They're absolutely real. So you try to. My other thing would be try to stick. You're gonna have a caddy, which is totally awesome. But whatever your pre-shot routine is at home, stick with it. Try to make it as normal as you possibly can in this place where nothing's normal. Right? This is not how normal people play golf. Okay,
right.
This is not nothing about this place is normal. So that would be that may help relax the nerves a little bit. Don't call out Jason Finley. That's on the list. You know, I think you like that. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. He put me up to this. I didn't even want to do it. Finley, if you're listening to me, it's his fault, really.
It really is. I didn't hit the shot for you.
No, you didn't. But you know, I was more than willing. Well, I mean, I can't believe out of everybody at the hype event, why didn't you say, "Hey, let's call out Velarde"?
Why would you? I mean, Finley is such a legend.
Right,
go big or go home.
All right, I got you. And then you and Hudson are talking. Oh, no, I would have beat him. Look, I can't wait until one of these guys plays you.
So what is it like Rocky? You know, Rocky 5, and he says, "Well, you knocked him down. Why don't you try knocking me down?"
Yeah, you know, Hudson described it like, remember that old Patrick Swayze movie Next to Kin when his brother gets killed and then he shows up, but Patrick Swayze shows up back in the town and kills everybody.
Yeah,
that's how Hudson describes how this would go down. I'm just sitting back watching it.
Watching all this unfold.
Right. A couple other things I have on here. Drink more water than you think you should. Because it gets hot, but it's more of a dry heat, not what we're used to. Trust me on the chapstick. Like, I felt like I couldn't have enough chapstick. Like, the whole time, the entire time I was in California, I was like, dude, they must run through a bunch of chapstick out here.
Yeah.
And spend more time on the punting green than the practice range. Like, when you get there and your name's on the thing and you have your own slot on the range, it's real easy to want to go hit the new and shiny stuff. But you know what? You're probably not going to fix it unless you're Cobra, who's asking the head pro to come over and take a look. You're not going to fix your swing. Go make putts. Because those guys, they get to show up with their own gear, their own putter, and they make putts.
Well, you talked about the caddies for a second. I mean, or you brought them up. Like, what was that like having the caddy? Because, you know, most of the people have not played with a caddy before, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe it's been like once.
I've played a couple times with Ford caddies before. I've played Valhalla 3 times. They have Ford caddies. The caddies are really cool. They're really great. But let me tell you something else. I would ask the member that's with you sometimes. Like, if you're reading your own putt or something, ask the member. They play the course all the time.
Like Al. You played with Al, right?
I play with Al. Al always...
Al, come take a look at this.
Right. Hey, ask him. He will. Sort of like when people ask us at our home course, you know, hey, what? I can't believe that just did that. And we only know it because it's going to break back to the Cumberland, even though it looks like it goes the other way, right? That's the type of stuff Al and Danny and Lars, they know those type of things. So I would lean on them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I have a whole list. I don't want to give it away. I don't want this video to run too long either.
All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we cut this video?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to mention some of the zoo crew class acts. I mean, we joked a whole lot, and I've said a whole bunch about Finley. Love the guy, love Luke. I didn't even mention hashtag on the podcast. On the podcast. Love that dude. In fact, he played against me in Cap and not singles, but in best ball.
Best ball.
And I mean, just 90s country blaring out of out of hashtags cart. You know, like and you know, when we started talking, people would make fun of us, like because he can understand me and I can understand him. We spoke the same sort of language. But all those guys, that's the other thing I would tell you: get to know all the zoo crew guys if you get a chance, if you make it.
Is there anybody you didn't get to spend a lot of time with?
Tyler.
Tyler.
I should have spent more. I talked to him a couple times. But you know, everybody's like, like I said, it just happened so fast, and yeah, Tyler probably. So yeah, sorry I didn't get to spend more time with you. I was still licking my wounds from getting beat by Finley so much, and I wish I would have talked to Harry a little bit more. We talked a little bit about Falcons Saints, and how about them Saints? Who dat?
Yeah, they won. This past week.
They beat the Falcons actually this past week. In fact, if you turn on the Super Bowl. New Year's Eve at 7, I think it's like 7:03 p.m. By the time the clock strikes midnight, the Falcons would have blown the 28-3 lead. So, hats off to that.
Shred, if you're listening, you just threw your boys under the bus.
No, you know, Shred knows. Shred knows. I'm a Saints fan. We don't. You know, Saints Falcons. We always clash. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they have in store. I think that the other thing, you know, I'd like to thank JB. You know, for all that he does. I mean, you know, like I didn't even know anything about this. It's the, you know, the golf event of my lifetime, and he's sort of like the George Lucas of the THP, the creator or whatever. So,
and Morgan,
yeah. I thanked Morgan. I put Morgan over on the podcast.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, thanks for everything that you do, man. Love you.
All right. Well, that's all we got today, guys. This might be our last video. I don't know, because I'm moving.
He's moving. That's right.
So we'll see, but
we're gonna figure something out. We're gonna figure something out. If you know,
we've been talking about maybe a podcast. We'll see. Maybe like a FaceTime thing. We'll figure something out though. But we'll be sure to bring you guys some more stuff in 2018. Peace out.
Late.